That's me trying to be tech savvy. No, I'm good and well not tech savvy. Can y'all hear me now? Oh, wait, I gotta get this out the boobage. Wait. Okay. Can y'all hear me now? Big Deborah. Oh my gosh. Okay, awesome sauce. Wait, oh man. Hold on, y'all. Wait. Okay, all right. There we go. Merry Christmas. How is everyone doing on this wonderful Monday? It's Monday. Oh, good sound. Out that life. Trying this on my computer for the first time, so hopefully my internet doesn't do what it usually does. Oh, I love you guys. I love y'all so much. I love that all y'all are up in here like real. So I'm gonna give some time because I don't want to keep you guys for too long just because it's Monday and everybody got to go to work tomorrow and whatnot. But things are going on. But I'm gonna touch on like a few little quick things because in the comments and in my emails I've been getting a ton of questions, and I knew that there was no way for me to I'm gonna keep my eye on the chat this whole time, but I knew there was no way. Maybe I should wait. Okay, good. So I said I wanted to answer all of these questions at once, you know, just so I could give a thorough answer. Because I told one of my subbies in the comments, I was like, I literally would like keep rewriting my book in the comments. So this is just to kind of give you guys like the background and just to understand the difference between all of them, as well as just kind of giving you some little tips and insight into it and how to handle it and what it's for and all that good stuff, you know. Aw, thank you, Seven. Yeah, and I was surprised that there's a couple of emails that I got of a lot of people didn't know what twin flames were at all. So it's pretty much 50-50. So there's 1% where they're trying to figure out if they're in a union. The other 50% is like, what is this? But it sounds interesting and I'm about that life. Aw. Well, yeah, 92 people. So I guess I can kind of hop up in here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you guys a gist, you know, of what I feel like is most relevant. And then I'm going to give everyone an opportunity to kind of ask me stuff. So I'm going to give my disclaimer. I'm not reading signs. Okay. I'm going to do some oracle cards towards the end because y'all have homework. So if you're watching this, you have homework, heads up, just look, you know, it's how we roll. So pull out your journals, you know, your clipboards, whatever, take you some notes, you know, and so I'm going to do some oracles at the end. I'm not going to do it like individual person type of deal, but just like an overall, just kind of meditative type of thing. Cause I want you guys to be able to walk away from this with something that you can take with you and apply to your life. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna open up the floor to let you guys ask me questions. So my moderators, if you guys could, I don't know if y'all are on your computers or phones, if y'all could like screenshot questions, if people kind of put them in, while we're doing this thug thizzle, that would be dope. A little giggle glimmer, little star, you know. I love you, Giggle Glimmer. You're the bomb. Yay! I love y'all. Y'all are so awesome. So yeah, so I'm gonna give the gist of what I feel is most pertinent, and then after that, you know, anything I don't clarify, I'm willing to clarify afterwards. So and I have my notes right here. So mainly what it is that I want to do first and foremost is like create a framework for what it is that we're about to discuss. So the framework is first understanding the role that you play in all of this, right? So that's you as an individual human being, a soul and a body. The whole purpose of you being here is your own personal soul evolution, right? That's why all of us are here. So keeping that in mind with everything I say past this point is that everything that you experience in this life is about your evolution And it's important to keep in mind also that everything in your life is not happening to you. It's happening for you, right? Now keep that in mind as our framework for everything that I say past this point. So if we start with karmic partners, my favorite, AKA spiritual catalysts. They're so awesome. First, we need to define what karma is, right? Karma kind of has a bad rap. A lot of people call her a bitch. Don't understand why that is. I think she's pretty cool. I mean, if she's a she, it's actually a concept and doesn't really have a gender, but roll with me, people. So if we look at karma, like far removed from the whole like past life thing, just for the simple fact that I don't want to confuse anyone who doesn't, believe in the whole belief system of past lives and whatnot. If you look at karma, karma is literally the universal law of cause and effect, right? So everything that we do, there's a consequence, and consequences are not necessarily negative. It's just a reaction to what it is that we're putting out, right? So when people talk about things like soul contracts, here's my illustrative story, because I got 1,000 of them. A soul contract in so many words would be like everybody was chilling in heaven before they were born, right? And, some people were like, Civil War soldiers. A couple of people were like gurus, like a bunch of different people. And like people who have like lessons they need to learn, they were like, yo, so I'm going to incarnate, somewhere around like, 1982, you're going to incarnate somewhere around 83. Okay. So somewhere around like 2018, I'm going to come and fuck your life up. But it's all for a higher purpose. It's for your soul evolution. And you were like, yes, I'm about that life. That's what happened. Not really. It's an illustration. So that's in essence what a soul contract is. It's saying that you and this person, whether it's a friend, right? If it's a family member, if it's a person that you're in a romantic relationship with, this is someone that you were in cahoots in, or the belief system says, this is someone you were in cahoots with prior to your incarnation into this particular life. And the two of you in your higher selves decided to meet in the physical life in order to show up as you are, to teach each other a lesson about yourselves, right? That's the first foundation that's laid for what we know as twin flames, right? Now, when we talk about soulmates can be family members, they can be friends. It's typically believed to be someone that you have like an instant resonance with. So it's kind of like, that friend that you met in first grade and like you guys had the same Lisa Frank notebook, you guys hit it off and you've been friends ever since. So that's kind of like what the sensation feels like, right? Now, the common belief with this is that the difference between, and I'm going to clarify for my perception of it, but this is just like all general information from what the general belief is of these concepts. So when we talk about like soulmates, the general belief with that is that this is a person where the relationship is devoid of any type of karmic lessons. And it's kind of like one of those things where I like you, you like me, you're practical, I'm practical, we have like goals, and we lived happily ever after type of deal, right? But I find that that's not necessarily always the case per se, because there's a lot of people who don't even subscribe to the whole twin flame thing, and they solely subscribe to the soulmate thing. And that's pretty much like, your other half, perfect person for you, and so on and so forth. Now, the general belief with twin flames is that that's your mirror. So your twin flame would be someone who is your polar opposite. So everything that you are, they are not, right? So the general belief is that the two of you come together and ruin each other's lives. And there's, just craziness, but, there's a runner, and then there's a chaser, and you guys are together, and then you're apart, and then you're together, and then you're apart, and then you're together again. And all of this is like raising consciousness and whatnot, or whatever. Segueing into how it is I see things. The reason why that was hard for me to digest is because if you guys are subscribers to my channel, I would hope so. If you're new, welcome. You guys know that my approach to how I do my readings, it's very practical. So I'm taking esoteric concepts and I'm breaking them down into practical application, like steps, so to speak, because I needed everything to make sense to me like that. It's like me thinking, okay, well, me and this person interacting is raising my vibration and it's helping me on my evolution, but it's like, I need to know how, like, how is that happening? Not necessarily in an energetic sense of the transformation that's happening. Because of course, you know, a lot of things in the spirit sense are a mystery, right? But I was like, I need something with this tangibly to make sense. So the thing that I find is that I don't really so much believe in karmic partners being something aside from the soulmate and the twin flame. I believe that a soulmate relationship and a twin flame relationship, right, can both be karmic relationships, or they could not, right? I believe both of these concepts are neutral. And depending on you, right, who you are, why you're here, what your mission is, the lessons that you need to learn, as well as the person that you feel that you're experiencing this with, that determines whether you fall into the soulmate category or the twin flame category. Now, not saying that I'm the absolute expert on this, but just for looking at themes, because that's usually how I interpret concepts, is through themes. It's like, I find that when, like, if a person falls into the category of light worker or star seed or anything of the sort, if they subscribe to that, I find those are people who tend to fall into the twin flame category. When it's someone who is just a person that, you know, they don't really feel like, they just feel like they're, you know, a spirit and a body having an experience, that they usually subscribe to soulmate. You know what I mean? And it's up to the individual. I don't really believe that there's necessarily a differentiation between the two. Of course, with the definition of how the twin flame union works, of course, it's different, because the belief is that you're one soul, right, that is deviated into two bodies when you incarnated. So in so many words, this is your missing piece. And that's what I get into in the first chapter of my book, is the only like clear story that's a reference for the whole twin flame ideal. It comes from Plato's Symposium. And it's like a group of guys that came together to, you know, debate their philosophical views on love and what it is, right? So one of the guys, and I know I'm not pronouncing his name right, it's like Aristophanes or something of the sort. He talks about a story that originated in Greek mythology. And it says that, to show you all the picture, but it says that human beings first began as one. So they had two heads, they had 4 arms and 4 legs, and they were like a big giant circle. I sketched it out in my book. If you've read my book, you know that it's hilarious. But anywho, so the whole thing is that they tried to like overtake, you know, Zeus's castle. Zeus got pissed, chopped them in half, you know, and like twisted them into themselves. And that's how we got belly buttons, so that we could look down and always remember that there's a piece of us that's missing, right? Now, where the problem with this is because to believe that a piece of you is missing and you are looking for your better half, you're looking for your missing piece, you know what I mean? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, this person fulfills me. That is when I put on my therapist hat. And I'm like, no, that's codependent as hell, you know? Another human being cannot fulfill you, right? Clients that I have, both on the spiritual side and as well as my therapeutic side, the twin flame thing was like a thing I was seeing on a regular basis every day. I wrote my book because it frustrated me that the misunderstanding of this concept was causing people to stay in narcissistic abusive relationships, to stay in, you know, manipulative and controlling relationships. And it was enabling their codependency because of the dynamics and the whole runner and chaser thing, and the runner and chaser dynamic being misinterpreted as ghosting or a person being hot and cold. And that's when I felt I needed to step forward and like do something about this, because that puts people in danger, because now all of these things that would typically incite red flags in you, where you would say, oh, wow, this isn't right, or a person shouldn't treat me like that, or something about this just makes me feel wrong. The misinterpretation of these dynamics, which are eerily similar, can have a person staying in a situation that puts their life literally in danger. You know what I mean? And you will silence all of your red flags because you're thinking, you know, he's just running, you know? So that was the thing that forced me to kind of, well, not forced, but forced, like not literally forced, but you feel what I'm saying. Inner unction, let's go with that. That made me, like, I felt charged to kind of iron this out, to differentiate between the two, right? Now, differentiating between the two and now putting this back into like a personal development sense is that if you are in a toxic union, the goal of that with our karmic partner, which is either a soulmate or a twin flame union, the goal with this is for both people to be like sandpaper for each other in a sense. So it's almost, and I mean, and it's not just with a partner, like this could be with friends, family members, anyone. It's like any person that's in your life that makes you feel uncomfortable. It's through suffering that we all grow. You know what I mean? It's never in the best times in our life, or, you know, when we're super, super joyous, that we learn our greatest lessons. It's usually in the pain, depression, turmoil, disappointment, betrayal, rejection, that we end up learning our greatest lessons about ourselves and about life, about the collective at large. The twin flame union is like a micro version of what your life is every day with the people you interact with. So in so many ways, it's like if you're with a person that's triggering you, the thing is not to look at the person and look at what they need to change and what needs to be different about them. The point of it is not for you to stay and try to, you know, change yourself to make them happy. The purpose of it is for you to take a step back and realize, like, I'm being triggered. It's like, why is this messing with me so much? So say hypothetically, if you were never an insecure person, and when you started dating this person, suddenly insecurities are coming from everywhere. Like home dude say he going to go get some milk from the store, and you sitting up here trying to GPS his car and things. You know what I'm saying? Because you're thinking, oh no, he's by a girl's house. Now, every relationship that you were in prior to this has never happened. You know, you never found yourself being this person. Well, that's when it's a sign like pause. What is it in me that's being triggered here? Why am I feeling so insecure? Usually point number one is because it's a fear of losing this person. Now, that's usually when a person realizes, oh my gosh, I've never felt like this about a person before. Now, that's another point where you have to be careful about, because one, how long have you known this person for you to say that you never felt like this before? Because what I find consistently is when people feel this, they've known the person maybe 30 days, maybe 90 days at the most, right? Now, I'm not saying that you can't meet a person and instantly resonate with them. You totally can. But the thing is that resonating with a person, feeling that instant recognition, that does not substitute for time. You know what I mean? Me being intuitive, I can read for you. I read for you guys every month on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You could come sit and talk to me and I could discern all kinds of stuff about you. I still don't know you though. It's like, in order for me to know you on a deep level, like your favorite color, your favorite food, you know, how you grew up, you know, your parents' parenting style, you know what I'm saying? Whether or not you want kids, like what your 5-year plan is. In order for me to know those things about you, I have to put in the time, energy, and effort to sit and make a point to get to know you over the course of time, to truly know you. So it's not to discount that you cannot instantly resonate with a person, because you totally can. But it's just the simple fact that resonating with someone is simply that. It's resonating. And it's to put that here, allow that to be what it is, right? And go through the experience. A lot of this, and I'm going to stop talking because I know I'm seeing all y'all type it up here, but but my whole thing is that this union can be life altering for both people. But the most important thing to note about this is releasing the outcome. And this is like a major spiritual lesson that could literally transform your life in totality, that you can learn from a union such as this. Because, and I know some of you guys, if you've watched, you know, like twin flame readings, or even if you've ever gotten one, it's like usually sometimes like the reader will say that, you know, if you're like in separation, that you need to focus on yourself, focus on your own healing, right? And to allow that person to do their healing. Because it's usually why it is you're in separation, is because both of y'all done came, wound, stab, 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 jab, jab, you know, you went your separate ways. And now it's time for you to reflect on this, not in the sense of longing, because that's usually the state that most people are in, is like in a longing state. It's like, I want them to come back, and why are they gone? And it's like, you focusing on the wrong thing. You need to focus on, like, recap what has happened the last 6 months of my life. You know what I mean? Is this in alignment with me? Is this the type of situation that I want to be in? So it's a lot of reflection that goes into what it is that you're experiencing within this experience. But the most important part of all of that is releasing the outcome. It's knowing and trusting and believing. If you honestly believe that this person is the person that you are supposed to spend the rest of your life with, there should be no worry whether or not they're going to come back, because you can't believe that the two of you are one and the same. And there's even the slightest possibility that the two of you could not be together, right? But the whole thing is, for a twin flame union to move out of the spiritual catalyst karmic partner domain, it requires both of you to heal. And healing is a personal journey. It is not something that you do with someone else. It is not something that you piggyback somebody through. You know what I mean? It's something that has to be done solo dolo, you know, straight hermit phase, straight hashtag 4 swords on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a journey that you have to go on your own. And while your partner is going on that journey, the two of you can link up in the future and then have that love that you've always wanted, right? My last little caveat before I open up the floor to you all is the overall belief why this happens, of why it is these two people come together as toxic as hell. Y'all separate, heal, come back together, healed and unified, is because it's all about the soul mission, your calling, your purpose, right? So you have these two people who act as like this instigator, like that first sign, right? Or the first spark, so to speak, of your healing cycle, right? So once you guys meet, both of your lives go to shit, pretty much, you know? Things start getting all chaotic. You got all kinds of childhood memories that's just coming up out of nowhere. You feeling some type of way, so on and so forth. All this stuff is coming to the surface because it's intended for you and them to heal it. If both of you guys separate and take that time to honestly master yourselves and release this person, because you're blocking energy, trying to hold on to them, stalking them, trying to see what they're doing, is they coming back, when they come back, what time they coming back, what shirt they wearing when they come back. All of that is taking attention away from self. Now, if you put all of that time, effort, and energy that's often spent on the other person on self, and you go through your healing cycle and they go through their healing cycle, when you guys cross paths again, you both are going to be whole, complete, knowing your true selves, knowing the authentic self, walking in the authentic self, and able to execute the greater mission that you have for the collective together, right? Because that's what this is really all about. It's all about the soul mission, the soul's mission, your personal evolution, and what it is that you contribute to the collective, right? It's like each one of us play a vital role in this overall raising of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? And the twin flame union is not a necessary facet of that. But if that's something that you're involved in, that's the reason why this whole healing thing keeps coming up between, between these two partners. So you guys want to strengthen each other, not weaken each other. And if you're both in a weakened state, because like attracts like, so if your partner is toxic, 9 times out of 10, you toxic too. You know what I'm saying? So the whole thing is that if they're a narco-pendant, we ain't gonna say narcissistic personality disorder because they ain't got no hope for them. But anyway, they're a narco-pendant and you're a codependent. Y'all come together. they're dominate, and you're like, submit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whoa, why am I doing that? We separate. This person sees I control people or attempt to control people so I can feel safe. Now, this is me fast tracking all the revelations that you're going to get to finally get there. And you're like, wow, why do I always compromise myself for other people? That causes reflection. And you'll start realizing, oh my gosh, when I was a kid, this, or I watched my mom and dad do that. And this person is like, man, my dad treated my mom like this. And then everything starts to connect. And it's like, you can release it. It's like, I was doing that to protect myself from pains that I've experienced. But those pains aren't here anymore. You know what I mean? I don't have to protect myself anymore. And now it's like, you can take off that old, false self. You can remove that and you can present yourself to the world as your true, authentic self, being vulnerable, allowing, heart chakra on fleek. You know what I'm saying? Allowing yourself to love and be loved. You know what I mean? And when two people like that come together, hunting, that's love on a whole nother level. And if you could just think about that for a second, if you think about coming to a place within yourself where you are self-aware, you know yourself, you love yourself, you're very clear on why you're here, you're connected to spirit, you're connected to others, you have your tribe, you're on the path to your mission, and you encounter another human being who is just as passionate about themselves and loves themselves and respects themselves the same way that you do. So you don't have to worry about them stepping out and cheating. You don't have to worry about them talking to you any kind of way. You don't have to worry about them dominating and trying to control you, manipulate you, or anything, because they are going to treat you the way they treat themselves, right? So if I love myself, I can't help but love you. Because if we want to talk about projection, because we all project on one level or another, but it's like, if a person loves themselves, they're going to project their loved self onto you, right? If a person hates themselves, they're going to project their hated self onto you. You know what I mean? So it never becomes a question of trying to coach someone how to treat you. It doesn't become a question of how to, what is it? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Let's just stick with coach. But there's no need to coach a person on how to treat you, or what the shoulds, oughts, or supposed tos, or what they should do or shouldn't do, or having to consistently, repeatedly tell someone not to disrespect you, not to cross your boundaries. There's no need for that when a person loves themselves, because they respect themselves. It's like, I'm not about to disrespect you because I wouldn't treat myself like that. So why would I ever treat you that way? You know what I mean? So it's important to take that into account. So if you really truly want to experience the love of a lifetime, if you really truly want to experience the full embodied union of the twin flame debacle, it's going to come through your own self-healing path, so that you can attract to you what you are, because that is what we're doing every day anyway. And it's not just with relationships, it's with friendships, it's with our jobs. You know what I'm saying? Everything that's in our life, we created that. We are the source of that. These are things that are being drawn into us. And if you look around your life and you don't like what you see, what needs to change is not your circumstances. It's not your exterior environment. What needs to change is the self, right? Right. Oh, here's another little thing. If it's a soulmate, it resonates. If it's a twin flame, it breaks your brain. Remember that, dag-nabbit son of a gun. Oh, somebody got timed out what they did. Oh, I love you guys. I'm looking back at the chat now. I love my my moderators. I'm deleting negative comments. No warnings. So you guys, since I done sat up here and talked your head off for however long I've been talking my head off, you guys let me know what it is that you want to know in relation to the whole soulmate twin flame thing that I can clarify for you guys. Hey, Flower. 2 likes and 200 plus people. I know, ain't that something? Oh, it's been 30 minutes. Oh my God, brain breaking. Yeah, right? Real talk. What if your twin flame is with someone else? If your twin flame is with someone else, you guys technically would be in the separation phase. But what I would say even more so is I would want to clarify whether that's truly your twin flame or not, right? Because I didn't want to go too much into detail badgering you guys with like each little nuance. You know what I mean? And this is kind of like a new thing that I'm starting because I want to be able to pinpoint these things that are causing you guys issues or problems or pains. But and this is what I'm saying, what resonates with me at this moment is to ask, to find out and to know for sure if that's really your twin flame. I'm not really aware of like how much you know about it, but it's like if your twin flame is with another person, there's an explanation for that in the sense that you guys could be in separation and they could be running and in denial of who and what they are, you know, or trying to reject the union. But email me because we need to chit chat. Because I sense there's so much more. I need to know more framework and dynamics of that. Because I don't want to answer your question and lead you in the wrong direction without having context. What do you do if your twin flame is really stuck in their pride and ego right now while we're separating? I've healed and my divine masculine is going through it still. You can't do anything. Only thing that you can do is send them love, send them light, offer up, prayers, affirmations for them, send them love. But that's where that personal accountability thing comes in. And that's why I said in the very beginning, the framework for this whole conversation is remembering that your path is your path. So him working out his ego and going through his ego death, that's needed for him in his overall soul evolution. Because at least the belief that I come from, I believe that the evolution of the individuals supersedes the importance of the whole romantic connection. You know what I mean? Because the role that each of us plays, our history is literally another person's deliverance. Like everything you've overcome in your life is literally the key to unlock hundreds, thousands of people from cages that they're living in every day. And to me, what weighs more heavily than us just being in union is like us collectively as a society, as a world being in union, especially the state that our world's in right now. But the thing that I would say is send him love and light, right? But honor the fact that his journey is his own and it's needed in order for him to evolve into who it is that he needs to be for himself as well as the world at large. What do you do when your divine masculine keeps trying to hold on when divine feminine is trying to let go to heal? Keep trying to hold on, I'm assuming in like a physical sense or like an energetic sense. If he's trying to hold on in a physical sense, then you might just have to like cut ties on some stuff, right? But if it's in an energetic sense, you may have to do what I did, and I had to get let me correct myself. I have to continuously cut energetic cords, you know. I have that. It's a continual thing for me because he just hard-headed. Oh shoot, let me see. What if the guy is confused about a karmic relationship and has to separate from me on his request? Confused about a karmic, well, I would still say honor that. Because I say the thing that's most important here, guys, is to understand our realm of control, right? Like this is your little bubble of control. The only thing that you have power to change or to control is yourself, right? So if I could use myself as like a schematic here, like me being a counselor, a lot of times I encounter people and I see them you know, like see them at their absolute best. I see their potential. And I wish I could just like reach in them and be like, bam, changed, you know, but that would be a disservice to the person if I did that. If they came in and I was just like, look, fix this, fix this, fix this, and you about to slay, you know, it would be a disservice to them, because it's through the journey and through the experience that we become like all that we are, right? It's the times we were in the pit, like when we're looking back, hindsight is the times that we were in the pit, we were in the darkness, right? Like for me, I always say the reason why I'm always so happy and why I smile so much is because I spent literally the former part of my life, majority of my life, in the darkness, and meaning that in depression, sadness, self-loathing. I had spent so much of my life in the dark that I celebrate that I finally get to live in the light. You know what I mean? So that person going through that journey, that person going through that experience, that's something sacred that each individual has a right to go through. And even though we may see our twins or our partners for what they are, and we want to pull that out of them, we have to have self-control and understand the higher purpose for all of this, to honor them, to honor their journey and allow. And that's like that thing coming back around again. The most important thing about all of this is teaching you a huge universal lesson about allowing, releasing, control, surrendering. #hangman. You know what I'm saying? That's what the most important thing about all of this is. And of course, as above, so below. So all of these things are mirroring each other. Like it's the mirror effect on like macrocosm, microcosm. Because if you learn how to surrender to the process and release your twin, you also learn how to surrender to the process of life and release things that are outside of your realm of control. And that's where peace comes into your life. The more that you learn to let go, the more that you allow things to come, and knowing that in order to have, you must be. We do not go out in search of things. It's like we sit in the power of what we are, and it's beingness that draws these things to us. So once we understand that and release our twins, the process is gonna become a lot easier for you, and it will fast track it for them. Literally found me on Facebook. And I find it really, I'm like, what happened? Can your husband or wife be your twin flame, or is it always someone you don't know? Yes, your husband or wife can be your twin flame. When husbands and wives are twin flames, I find that the dynamics of that are a little easier to interpret if you're already married to your twin, because you guys still go through that same, you know, process and stuff, and, you know, fighting and triggering and all of that. Those things still happen, but the dope thing is it's kind of a little harder for y'all to really leave each other on some stuff. Y'all might go sleep in other rooms and things, but yes, your husband or wife can be your twin flame. Bye, Christian. Oh, you're so welcome. Ooh, Poland, Petkova. I found my divine feminine on Facebook too. That's gangster. I just met mine in a whole other state for a job I was doing. How does one treat her well and respectfully and still establish honest boundaries, because you know she's coming back in a very fragile condition? How does one treat her well and respectfully and still establish honest boundaries? Well, I would say is take a step back and allow her to lead. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like seeing what a person is comfortable with and not comfortable with, and allowing that to kind of, you know, allow you to work with them. So it's more or less, and with me, I really believe that how we show up in life, guys, and this may sound a little crazy for some, but I believe all this relates back to your inner state. Like if I set an intention and ground myself in it, like if I look at this freaking webcam, and I say that I want to send love to all of you, and I hold on to that and I ground myself in that, it's like it's happening. You know what I mean? So if you make a decision within yourself and set that intention, to honor a person or to respect their boundaries, that's step number one. Step number two is checking in with them to see what their deal breakers are, what makes them feel uncomfortable, and following suit until they feel comfortable. So how do I not think so damn hard as if I were something if we broke up, or feel as if I would have a nervous breakdown? Well, it's when you have abandonment issues, it's like reliving the trauma, right? So the first abandonment now becomes like the trauma, the stressor, the greatest fear, and we try to guard against that. And this kind of pings a little bit into self-fulfilling prophecy, because when we were abandoned, so we say in your case as a child, being abandoned as a child, so say if it was like a parent that left, right? We felt this horrible feeling. We never ever want to feel that again. We never ever want to be back there again. So now I go through life, grow up, I meet this dope dude. He is freaking amazing. But anytime he does something that triggers in me that feeling I felt when my parent left, I instantly go back into fear mode, right? And that's a little bit of ego, you know, because it's self-protection. So now it stops being about the person and it's about me protecting me. I don't want to lose you. Never taking into account what's best for the other person, never taking into account what the other person wants. I don't want you to leave me because I need you to be here, right? Now, another thing that this says is it's taking a stance of disempowerment, right? Because that means this person has now become your sustenance. You know what I mean? What is my life without you? You know what I mean? Your soul exists in your body. And now your life becomes devoid because of someone that exists outside of you. You know what I mean? You see how that's kind of unequal, right? So now I want to step back and I want to ask myself, why is it that I'm valuing other people higher than myself? If we go even deeper with that, if I value other people higher than I value myself, what does that say about me? You know what I mean? What incentive is it to say, like, I love you with everything that I am? I don't love myself, but I love you with everything that I am. What does that person have to love if you don't feel that you are good enough to love, right? So that, again, brings it back to it being an inner work, right? So the first thing is understanding where that abandonment comes from. It's understanding what your triggers are and truly facing your fears of what it is. And my Reiki master, when I was going through my training and I was doing my inner child work, and I used to be so mad at him when he used to do this. Shout out to David. We would be doing like the guided meditation and he would ask me about all these horrible scenarios pinging on my greatest fears. And then his response would be, and why would that be so bad? And it's like the first time he said it, I was like, excuse me? But why would that be so bad? And sometimes we have to sit with ourselves with our fears and say like, okay, my greatest fear is someone leaving me. But why would that be so bad? Why would it be so bad if that person left? And if you don't have an answer immediately, allow yourself to sit with it. If you're a journaler, journal with it, meditate with it, and sit with it. Because if you seek, you will find, right? So spirit is going to reveal the answer to you. Just hold the intention to receive the answer. Don't seek it. Again, we're allowing, we're sitting with it, and the answer is going to present itself. That's something you want to jot down. That's your intel. You know what I mean? In this whole process of unraveling how our childhood wounds have molded us into how we're showing up in life right now. And that's something that we often discount a great deal. When we see how that's affecting how we're showing up in life right now, we can build the entire personality profile of the false self, see what the links are of how this particular behavior or thought pattern or core belief got there. And now we can undo it with looking at the truth of who we are on a higher level sense. I hope that made sense. Yes, dude. That's the war cry. Authenticity is the war cry. That's what makes not dating so easy for me. I don't know if this guy is my twin flame or soulmate, but I feel like he is. We are not together or anything. but just colleagues. However, he has even told me what he has ever told me to not touch him and not answer me back. He has never told me to not touch him and not answer back. Oh, okay, okay. Well, see, that's one of those cases where it's like when you have that that instant resonance with a person. And I always say, because there's people that I meet and it's like I just vibe with them and I'm just like, yo, I feel like I'm looking at myself in you. You know, when you resonate with a person like that, that is the first sign that that person may either be something as far as a soulmate or twin flame. It could also mean that person is a part of your tribe. They could be a part of your soul family. You know what I mean? Or you guys could have a past life connection. But the thing that I want you guys to keep in mind is you want to be aware. Like, the reason why self-awareness is so important in all of this, because the more aware that we are of self, the easier it becomes to sift these things out. Because if I don't know, and this is like a legit true thing, women typically grow up to marry their fathers and boys marry their mothers, right? For better or for worse. All of these things are set into our mind around the age of 6. Our definition of love comes from our parents. So hypothetically, if I grew up in a household where, you know, dad's an alcoholic, thus he's showing narcissistic traits because he's suffering from the disease of addiction. So that means he's being self-centered because his drive is the addiction, right? So mom is the enabler because she's trying to make sure that nobody knows that dad has a drug problem. I watch this dynamic, right? So what I'm familiar with and what resonates with me, like what feels normal to me, is to prove my love to someone by covering for them, by making excuses for them, by me always giving. And now the illusion of this is you will give. And one day this person is going to turn around, see how freaking amazing and awesome you are. And they're going to reciprocate everything that you put into the situation. Truth be told, that doesn't ever actually happen. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the illusion, right? So if you're not self-aware enough to know or even be aware that you have codependent tendencies or grew up in a household, and once again, this is all hypothetical, that you grew up in a household where, you know, one or both parents had codependent traits, then when you meet this dude and you instantly resonate with him, you don't know it's because he has narcissistic traits and you have codependent traits. And that magnetic attraction is the magnetism of the dysfunction that you both possess. But all things work together for the good. So spirit is going to take that situation and he's going to say, you know what? I'm going to help him heal his narky traits and I'm going to help you heal your codependency by you guys sucking each other dry. Isn't that wonderful? Nature or nurture? I think it's a little bit of both. To be quite honest, I think we have biological predispositions in our DNA. It's like addiction. Addiction is nature. You know what I mean? But codependency is nurture because that's a behavioral pattern. So anything that has anything to do with, you know, your like your neurological transmitters or any hormones in your brain, your dopamine levels and things of the sort, that's all genetic. So if a person has like lower dopamine in their brain and it causes them to be clinically depressed because their body doesn't produce enough dopamine, that's a nature thing. But, you know, if a child was perfectly fine and their father passes away and they become depressed, that's like a nurture thing. Can narcs heal or change? I love to answer this question. A person with narcissistic personality disorder doesn't change. And there's a guy who wrote a book that's called Malignant Self-Love, and he is a diagnosed narcissist. Like, and I'm going to clarify those terms in a minute, but a person with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD for short, a person has to go to a mental health professional to be diagnosed with that. And there's a ton of criteria in order to be diagnosed that personality disorder. Personality disorders cannot be healed or changed because it's inherent to the person's personality. And you cannot change your personality. Like, your personality just is what it is. And the whole thing is it's called a disorder because it's abnormal in the sense that when it's reflected against the overall population, even though now a lot of people show narcissistic traits, the entire society as a whole is not narcissistic personality disorder. So because they fall into that abnormal side, that's why it's disorder, because it deviates from the norm, right? So with a person having that, and that being inherent to the personality, that can't be healed or changed. A person can get therapy to become more aware and to try to modify their behavior, but it's inherent to the personality, right? Now, what we hear a lot about on YouTube is narcs or narcissists without the personality disorder. And that's more or less like a pop culture term that encapsulates a person who's very, very self-centered. So this is a person who has traits, that has narcissistic personality disorder traits, but they don't actually have the disorder, right? So they may have the grandiosity, they may have, you know, the scheme and self-serving, whatever, but they don't have enough of those traits to be considered with NPD, right? So people who are narcs or narcissists, and, you know, meaning a person, they have feelings and emotions, can actually have empathy for people, but they use domination and control as a defense mechanism. Yes, those people can heal or change. But the biggest hurdle for them is the fact that how hard is it? And this is how I always explain to people. How hard is it to step down as the God of your own life? Right? So this can give you guys some insights and maybe people that you may be dealing with that are narky. How hard is it to step down as the God of your own life? If you are in a position to where you have the prowess to dominate, manipulate, and control people, all Machiavellian-like and whatnot, you know, if you have the ability to move people like chess pieces and you feel like you have the upper hand over everyone, why on earth would I ever step down from my pedestal to now integrate with humanity and have to deal with stuff like everybody else, have to deal with being taken advantage of, have to deal with being dominated? And that's their hurdle. So that's a part of their healing path, because every person who's narky runs into that. It's like they'll feel guilty that they treat people this way. They'll feel bad. But when it comes down to the come down, it's like, I'm relinquishing all of the power that I have, which isn't real power, because people who dominate and control, that's false power. Any person who utilizes external force or bullying or, you know, verbally assassinates people, that is not strength. That is not power. It's pseudo power. It's false power. It's the pseudo alpha male or the pseudo alpha female, because the truth and strength is releasing. A true strong person can allow people to have the freedom to roam and be as they are. They don't need to hold close. They don't need to micromanage. You know what I mean? So for them, that's what the biggest struggle is for them, is to, like, this has kept them safe for so long, where no one was ever able to get close enough to them to either see they're ugly, to reject them, or to have power over them. And the hardest thing for them in their healing journey is to be able to relinquish that power. You're welcome. Yeah, very much so. And see, and here's another thing I want to tell you guys about that too, is you never want a person to know you better than you know yourself. And that is what the master trick of people who are narky, that's their bread and butter, is the fact that codependents usually spend so much of their life hiding who they are, because they feel who they are is inherently wrong, flawed, broken, smudged, like it's like there's some inherent flaw within, right? And we end up spending most of our life trying to cover that up. Anytime like a piece breaks and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want them to see that part. So we're like trying to patch it up. We're so busy trying to prevent people from seeing this thing that we think exists inside of us, this thing that we think makes us flawed. We're so caught up in that we're not aware. We're not in the present moment. You know what I mean? When we're having conversations with people, we're thinking, what do I look like? You know, do I look okay? Are they listening to me? Do they think Like, do they think that I'm smart? Do they think, oh, they think I'm stupid? Oh, they're not interested in what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Being so there's a narc somewhere behind a bush, like, you know, and that's the creepy thing about this, because they're a little predatory. They will get so much intel on you because honestly, and I've known this too, them stalking people's Facebooks, like a dude that works in your building sees you, right? So I'm going to do another scenario. So say it's like a single mom and this narky dude who works in your building, like sees you, like leave, pick your kid up from school, and you're like running and you're like, oh my gosh, we have to go, I have to finish work, right? So he's just watching. Then he finds out your name, goes on Facebook, looks at your Facebook, and it's like you got, you know, memes about love and bays and things like that. And he's like, oh, she looking for somebody, right? So what's he gonna do? He's gonna orchestrate a scenario. So one day you're gonna be running in there with your child, you know, trying to make it back to your office before your boss fires you, and he's just so gonna walk in front of you with a coffee, and it's like, oh my gosh. He's like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And you're like, oh no, it's my fault. I was rushing, blah, 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 blah. And then wow, fairy tale meeting. Cinderella and Prince Charming in this bit, right? So then all of a sudden, because he knows more about you than you know about yourself, he knows all of your weaknesses. So now he's going to present to you as everything that it is he already knows you are, because they are masters at like pinpointing people's behaviors, right? Or knowing who it is that they're dealing with, right? So now it's like, and I said this in my book, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, you know, my best friend had a goldfish in elementary school. Your best friend had a goldfish in elementary school? My best friend too. It's like, yeah, I really like 30 Rock. Me too. No way. Yeah, you know, it's like, I like to go hiking on weekends. No way. No. You hike? I hike, right? Because you'll notice in the conversation that you may be used to a person who presents as domineering, and you're like always getting shut down, but he just lets you talk and talk and talk, and he taking notes and notes and notes, you know? So that's another way that little fairy tale meeting happens. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, oh my gosh, we have everything in common. Even people who are very much alike do not have everything in common. One thing about me that I've learned with my taste in music, I love alternative music. Absolutely love it. Like, I'm stuck in the 90s with everything that I listen to. But every person I have ever met that likes alternative just as much as me hates my favorite band. And the only songs they know by my favorite band, which is Incubus, by the way, are Drive. That's the only song that you know by Incubus? You know what I mean? So we have something in common. We like the same genre of music, but it's just that genre is so multifaceted. It would literally, not saying that it'd be humanly impossible, but I mean, it would be a rare occurrence if I met another person that live or die loves Incubus as much as I do, that also has everything else in common with me. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of this Cinderella complex that we have, and that goes on both sides, men and women. It's not just contingent to women, but it's just the simple fact that, and on the woman's side, we've been socially conditioned for someone to come save us from our lives, you know, and we all want that fairy tale, but that fairy tale we desire, it's the lack of what is required to actually obtain that in a very real sense. And that's the business that I'm in. I'm in the business of taking all of these huge, fancy, schmancy, like esoteric concepts and grounding them. If you're telling me that I can have this whole fairy tale union, tell me what the practical application steps are to achieve such of a thing. If I need to heal, show me what healing looks like. Show me what that means. And I mean, these are questions I've literally asked myself. I'm supposed to love myself. What the hell does self-love mean? What that look like? You know, what's the steps? What I do first, you know? And affirmations in the mirror ain't gonna do it for you. I'm just being real. Pardon Me is my jam. I have every single album by Incubus, and I know every single word. I scared everyone at their concert down here because I was singing every single word to every single song. Right in the front row. I don't play games. Shout out to Brandon Boyd. God, if Brandon Boyd ever watched my channel. I reached out to my twin flame on Snapchat, and we were talking in 5 days. Everything was good, but he started acting cold. I told him, I'm not going to bother you anymore. He said, okay, honey. He stalks me. Wow. She asked same things you just mentioned. Incubus, nice to know you. I am a Taurus. That's the Taurus sign, if you guys didn't. I just made that up. And if you guys dig this, I am a Taurus. I'm a double Taurus. I'm a Taurus sun and a Taurus moon, and I'm a Gemini rising. I don't know what that was I just did, but it felt right. Let's go with it. I'm in my bedroom looking at myself in the mirror. If you want to do the who meditation, if you want to start to awaken to the truth of who you are, then every morning, and have some time to do this, just stand in the mirror and say who, and stare yourself directly in the eye. Did that creep you out just now? I bet it did. How do I know someone is my twin flame? You just know. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but it's it has nothing like it, and this is the way that I'm going to explain this, y'all. It's going to sound so crazy and so simplistic, but it's a resonance to me in a way that you have no reason, like there's no external support for this resonance, but see where you feel it. And that's where I say why self-awareness is so important, and even knowing your body mind and being in tune with that. When I resonate with someone, I feel it in my solar plexus. It's like I instantly feel a tug there, and it's like, you trying to, etheric cord me? What is you doing? So it's like I feel a tug there, and it's like, whoa, who are you? But it doesn't go any farther than that. When we talk about a person who's a twin flame, this is, again, something that has to be manifested over time. Resonating with someone isn't enough to really know. Because if we put it in the terminology of karmic partners and twins, or as I call it, toxic twins and twins, it's like they mirror each other so much that the only thing, and it's making me think of the Ace of Swords. Toxic twins and twins mirror each other so much that the only way to tell the difference is through discernment and guidance from spirit. That is the only way. Only way. And sometimes it won't even be revealed to a reader, because if spirit is on that stuff, like if your journey, like, and shout out to my Pisces friends. I always tease y'all. But it's like with Pisces and people telling Pisces a lot, you're just so hard to read, right? It's kind of something like that. Like if spirit wants you to go through an experience to learn something, and, you not get intel, and my friends will vouch for this. Because my friends could be going through something and they will call me and just keep saying the same thing over and over again. They know when I don't answer after the third time, it's like, spirit ain't telling you, huh? Nope. I got nothing, bro. And that's because, like how I said in the beginning, if I were to give a person all of the answers, it would be a disservice to them. In that particular instance, it's a disservice to that person, because spirit wants them to go through the experience. Usually why that is you need the experience in order to be a mentor to other people who are going to come behind you. You know what I mean? And that's why the experience is so important. It's like, what is that old saying? If you give a man fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he can eat for a lifetime, or something of the sort. It's kind of like that. It's the hands-on, infused in the moment experience that like alters lives of self as well as others. They can be toxic, right? Oh, I don't know what that was about. Pisces gang. Gang. Oh no. He said, oh my God, they look like my ex. I'm triggered. Oh no. Oh man. When will you do another live channeling / reading? Hey, if y'all about that life, I will. I mean, whatever you guys want, man. I love y'all to death. I like hanging with y'all. I'm about anything, me. And I say what I'm gonna do, because I know this, with this being live, because I really want to do this live to be able to engage with you guys real time. But I'm going to post this video maybe because I don't really know if it would be of any service to the people who come afterwards. You know what I mean? So I may not actually post this, and this will just be something that we got to experience together in the moment, you know? But I think I might actually pre-record something where I can take everything that was said here and put it in like a bullet point tangible format. So that way it's easier to understand. Because I think like with us being here and able to engage with each other is cool. But I think someone like coming in, I don't really feel they would get as much from it, you know? But I'm about that life though. Who your life partner is. Knowing who your life partner is so much easier. And that's if we're talking about this particular life. And you know, if, you know, divorce is also in the equation. But knowing that a person is your life partner is pretty simplistic, and it falls under the definition of what people typically know a soulmate to be, is it's that practical relationship. It's the fact that, you know, I love myself, you love yourself, you're good with your finances, I'm good with my finances, you know. You went to Morehouse, I went to Spelman, you're an AKA, I'm an alpha. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and they lived happily ever after. Got a little house in the suburbs, got 2 dogs, had 2.5 kids. You know, y'all have economical SUVs. You're saving for retirement and whatnot, or whatever, church on Sundays and things, you know? So yeah, it's just likeness. It's just a person who's compatible with you, you know? Which is pretty simplistic. The Huxtables, yes, exactly. Can you have karmic friends? Oh, hunty, let me tell you. That's book number 2. Because yes, you can. You can have narcissistic friends. If you are an empath and you know you have codependent tendencies, 9 times out of 10, you got at least one narcissistic friend that is doing to you what your narcissistic partner is doing to you. Every time you talk to them, you just feel drained. They make you doubt yourself. They make you feel like crap. Every time you tell them something about your life, they just completely like infuriate you. You get dressed. They berate how you dress, you know, or they insult you in front of people, you know, like it may be a guy that you like or a girl that you like. And this friend says the most absolutely inappropriate, embarrassing thing in front of this person that they know that you like, or they flirt with the person that you like. Yeah. That's your narky friend. Watch that now. That's the worst. And that's the thing that I said, that I see lots of people who clear their lives of like partners who do that, but they never stop to think and look at their friend group. Because especially like, you know, if it's like, oh, it's my girlfriend, or, you know, that's my homeboy or whatever, you don't ever think that they could affect you on the level that a romantic partner does. But it's even more dangerous because it's more insidious, because you're not expecting it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't hurt as bad because you're not closely intimate with them like you are with a romantic partner. So it's like they're that little, you know, hidden energy sucker that's like sucking your life force out and being like, selfie. Yeah, Jimmys are not as bad as people think, man. Real talk, man. I did too, girl. What? 2 narcissists hated each other? Yeah, they do. It's like, you have no life force to suck. It's like, why are you over here trying to take my narcissistic supply? A Kappa and the other is a Q. Ooh, all right now. That's what I'm talking about. It's a nice little combination there. I like that. Oh, yeah. I'd like to see that couple. Soulmates and life partners. Soulmates and life partners, and people use the term interchangeably, because life partners, like in my interpretation, a life partner is just like what it is, a life partner. A soulmate is a person that you have soul resonance with, but it's not like a soulmate doesn't have to be a romantic partner. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, and it could be romantic. But with life partners, to me, it's exclusively just romantic, but it's interchangeable. Like you can have a life partner that's not a soulmate, or your life partner can be your soulmate. How you know if you're an empath? Oh man. If whew, it's a lot of ways to know. Really, if you ever at one point in time in your life, and I'm gonna say this the easiest way that I know how, if you have several times throughout your life thought that you were like manic depressive or bipolar, or think that you have some sort of mood disorder because you go from being like fine to like suddenly like, you know, depressed and stuff like that, that's usually the first signifier I notice in people who are empaths. The second is that there's a narcissist in your life or you have a narcissistic parent. Other thing is that you're deeply moved by like you can't watch horror movies because it's just too much for you, or watching the news just becomes too overwhelming, or you could scroll through your timeline on Facebook for like 5 minutes and you just feel drained, or interacting with other people or being around large groups of people makes you feel completely depleted, or when things change in nature, when seasons change, or, you know, when the moon is going through cycles, or even like during hurricane season, it's like you notice that you feel sick or things shift in your body around the same time that natural disasters and things like that happen. And then just having like an open heart for humanity and being like a true humanitarian and being broken at seeing people suffer, you know what I mean? And feeling like the world is just like a very cruel place, and not understanding why you know, people are as cold and heartless as they are. And the fact that that bothers you on a core level of like just seeing the viciousness of how people treat each other and it not computing to you. Like it just doesn't make sense and you don't understand. And you think like, am I the only person that sees this? Am I the only person that's noticing this? Like, how are people just doing this and thinking that this is okay? 9 times out of 10, you're an empath. If any of that resonates. Yeah, man. I don't watch television. And if y'all don't know, I don't even have social media anymore, you guys. I deleted all of my social media because it became too much. It became way too much. We can't control other people. I don't want to be an empath. I don't know if you can reverse something like that. The Sagittarius I was dealing with for 7 months is my twin flame and is vibrating lower than I am, but I feel he is much smarter. He's an introvert and I'm an extrovert. We are in separation phase. Oh yeah, you don't want to be around low vibe. You got to raise that vibe. Life as an empath is hard. It really is. It really is. It is very hard. Yeah, man. I don't know. I had this whole epiphany about social media, and it's like I just was like, I can't do this anymore. And I've been on social media for years, but I mean, I deleted all of my personal and all of my business accounts because I couldn't do it anymore, because I just felt like being a part of the problem. You know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like we're disconnected as human beings right now because daily we're perpetuating false depictions of our lives. I was like, we're no longer living life. We're staging it. We're not being true. We're not being authentic. We're not. And then it's like, and then it works in the reverse in the sense that we'll look at other people's stuff and then it brings you down. You know what I mean? And it's just too much chaos and just negativity. Like it was too much. And I never thought I would do that, but I was just like, dude, I can't. Like, I just cannot. I cannot. It's almost like just feeling, it was like being hung up on a tree, #hangman, no surrender, and being naked and hung in front of the town. It was like, what is sacred anymore? What is me? What is my life without every single moment and second being documented? Why is it that when I'm spending time with my friends, we're in our phones and we're more concerned with getting the right picture as opposed to engaging with each other? And I feel like the source of why it is that we are right now, like as a society, as humanity at large, is because we have forgotten how to connect. with each other. You know, this was the first time for me in years that I individually text pictures of my son's first day of school to my family members, as opposed to posting it on Facebook. And it was so much more heartfelt because for that moment, I connected with my freaking family. You know, that's a phone call away. But it's like the lazy thing, like just post it on Facebook. Everybody will see it, call it a day, you know? When I got engaged, I didn't even like text anyone, call anyone. I just posted that I was engaged on Facebook, post I was married on Facebook, like, you know, and that's creating a vast disconnect between us. You know what I mean? And I think that's a huge part of the problem, because we're seeing each other through screens and not truly connecting. And that's why I think like just this space that everyone is here, this space that we're in right now, it's so beautiful in the fact that we're interacting. We're engaging. We're talking about real stuff. We're sharing stories and sharing, you know, experiences for the sole purpose of lifting each other up. You know what I mean? And that to me is what is so important. Like that's what needs to be at the heart of everything that it is that we're doing every single day, because we have gotten so off track of what this is really about, like why we're here, who we are, and all of that, you know? Yeah, the disconnect is real, dude. Yes, being an empath is very hard. Yeah, I'm gonna post a summary video. Y'all got that. Gemini and Sag. Oh, girl, I married a narcissist. Full blown, boo. Yes, Lord. That is why we were divorced. My greatest awakening came in my marriage. Like I went in to that marriage, the woman that I was or grew into most of my life, she died somewhere after I do. And then a completely different being was reborn from that. But I went through like a death in that marriage. It's like I think the only poem I wrote throughout my marriage was called Bleached. And I talked about knowing what death was like, because I literally felt like a shell of my former self. I was literally a body going through the motions, but it's as if my soul was gone. I was just flesh, animated flesh, you know? Yeah, man, it's real. But I needed that. I'm weird like that, y'all. I celebrate every tragedy that has ever befallen my life, because had it not been for that, that was the major shift that unlocked, you know, that was the chrysalis for the caterpillar me to, you know, emerge as the butterfly, like the reborn being, you know? And I don't think if it wasn't for me going through that, because I had to face myself on every level. Because if you've never experienced dealing with a person who has narky kind of traits, or a person who's just really vicious like that, it's like you have to have comeback after comeback after comeback, and you have to remember what you said and how you said it and what tone you said it in, and making sure that they're not gaslighting you and saying that it's this when it's that. So it's just having to question yourself on every level. That is how I got almost tricked into self-awareness in a sense, because it's like I had to know me in order to defend me, you know? And that's why I said that unlocked like a part of me to where I was able to almost like, it's like the mini death. It's like the 10 of swords, like overkill on some stuff. But it's a beautiful thing in the fact that I gained a perspective I never knew existed. So it's like seeing life through a lens that I had never seen before. And what I saw, like putting on glasses, and what I saw when I looked back at the world was like the most beautiful thing I had ever witnessed in my entire existence. I'm not talking shit. Tower card moment. Those are, yeah, man. About that tower card life. Yeah, dude, it's real. And that's what I say. I look at that as like the initiation. Like I honestly believe in one way or another, it's like people who are empaths, it's like you get into these relationships because it's like, if you think of your inner critic, it's like this person is that voice in your head and a body. So it's almost like they're treating you, like if you really remove yourself from it and look at it objectively, they are treating you the way that you treat yourself in your head. You really think about it. That I'm free glow. I'm about to start me a bronzer company called that I'm free glow, boo. Oh man. Real talk. I feel like I was like the guinea pig. Like all my friends, like, we are not gonna end up in a toxic relationship. We learn from Princess, goddamn. Oh yeah, man. Real talk. Keep incarnate. Oh man. If you keep meeting karmic partners, it's because it's an unlearned lesson. Because see, the thing is, if you try to leave a situation, right, before you learn the lesson, then you're just going to draw that same person to you. Because remember, this entire experience is for you. This is all for your highest good. So it's this horrible human being. Okay, we're using that loosely because, you know. But this horrible human being is coming to you and they're doing this bad stuff to you, bad stuff to you, bad stuff to you. The thing is to step out of victim mentality, because a lot of times, like, why is this always happening to me? You know, people are always taking advantage of me. They're always using me, you know, and we get so caught up in that we don't ever stop to think, why the hell I keep letting people take advantage of me? Because the greatest power that you wield, guys, and I mean this wholeheartedly, the greatest power that you possess right now, today, in this very moment, is the present moment in your power to choose. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. And that's why I think it's so important for people to take their power back, because it's a lot of times that we agree to things because we don't think that we have the right to say no. You know what I mean? If something doesn't feel right with you, if something makes you feel some type of way, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to participate in that, right? But the thing is that it's a lesson that's not being learned, and we will continuously repeat a cycle over and over and over again until we master the lesson. And the reason why is because if you didn't, then, you know, spirit wouldn't love you. Because you need to learn this lesson, because you're going to need to use this learned lesson on the next level. If spirit let you jump levels without mastering a lesson, then you would go to that sucker ill-equipped. So it's kind of like a video game. If you think about, like, on level 5, you have to, like, slay the dragon to get an axe, right? In order to go to level 6 to, like, slay a bear with the axe, right? If you got to skip to level 6 without slaying the dragon and you don't have the axe, then when the bear comes, you're freaking screwed. Straight up. You know? Hashtag death card. Just kidding. Don't talk about anime. Inuyasha is my favorite anime. And I realized that, man, that messed up my whole life when I look back at Inuyasha and I was like, this is some toxic ass shit right here. How long we been here, y'all? Oh, 1 hour and 24 minutes. What time it is? 9:24. Well, it's 9:24 here. I don't want to keep y'all up all night. Yeah, Inuyasha is the jam, man. You can't drive a horse carriage and graduate as the best race car driver ever. I like that. Oh, Giggle Glimmer. Look, y'all gonna have to tell me how this went, because with Star and Giggle Glimmer, and hey, if anyone that's here wants to be a moderator, send me an email, let me know, and I'll make you guys a moderator. But I know that y'all put in work, dude, because I haven't seen anything. I have not seen anything, even though I do want to know. You say that people are not here to save us, but reconnecting with my twin flame that gave us the strength to finally get out of the marriage with a narcissist. Well, see, that's the thing. It was an inspiration, but you're the one who had the strength. You had the strength to make the choice to leave. That was just an inspiration. We can inspire each other all day long. And just because I inspire you to change doesn't mean you actually will, unless you use your strength and your power to actually make the choice to change. So that's power that you possess, that you executed, that you should own. Both of you. Yeah, please hit that like button. And want to see the whole thing, please post the video. Oh, okay. I'm gonna put a little disclaimer in there and let people know that I'm a post a little synopsis. Is it possible to never oh shoot, where did that go? Is it possible to never met? I missed it. Thank you. A reader told me my twin flame was stalking me in my dreams and trying to put spells on me. Oh, y'all don't want me to start talking about that. Sexual spells and things of the sort. But yeah, that usually you have a telepathic connection. My twin shows up in my dreams all the time. He stole my car in my dream recently. Can you explain toxicity and friendship? Because I can't seem to see it. I will do that. Let me write that down. Toxicity and friendship. That's going to be something that I go into detail about. But toxicity and friendship looks a lot like it does in relationships. It looks almost identical, but it's just that the illustrative scenarios to see how it shows up differently in a relationship that's non-romantic. That's the only thing that would be different. But it's just like the same way that a person who's toxic like implants doubt in you or berates you and makes you feel anything less than you are. And I'm gonna post that for you guys too. My because I'm gonna post it on my website. And if you're on my email list, I'll send it to you. The sacred rights of the self. It's something I give to all of my clients that helps you to start understanding when a person is violating your boundaries. If you, are just learning to set boundaries, I have a list of all of the things that are your birthrights as a human being. All of the things that you have a right to ask for, to do, to say, so that can act as like a framework to know when a person is crossing the line and not saying that you're being a baby or, I was just joking and all that kind of foolishness. See their face. Y'all, speaking of that dream thing, see their face, or maybe if you do, there's a connection not understood there. Well, see, here's the funny thing with my twin. I saw him in a dream before we had ever met. And when I met him, that's why I was so creeped out. Because I was like, that's that dude that pushed me up against the wall and kissed my face. I love y'all face, but he kissed my face. But yeah, so that happens. That happens. That's usually like the signifier is that there's something with your twin that you know before you know them. Or it's something that you've seen, like they might have like a birthmark or something. And you saw a flash of that in a dream. And then 7 months after you meet them, they take off their shirt and you're like, it's creepy stuff like that. And then I've had some people who you meet someone and you hear like an ascended master's name when you see them, or like a certain person or whatever, because they have like similar soul essences to that person. What if you have a vision of you getting married? Depends on where you're at on your journey. Having a vision of getting married to someone else or just to someone that you don't know, to me, that's symbolic of the unification within the self. But the thing I thought of today, y'all, that this is reminding me of is dream interpretation. I was like, we need to just do a live where I just interpret buku people's dreams. That would be so freaking dope. Repeated numbers, you're getting initiated. What does it mean to dream something that later happens? You're walking to your prophetic gift or your clairvoyant gift, It's like my homegirl Star can tell you about that. It's like you get tested by spirit. So it's like, it'll start with you having a dream and then it happens. So it's like deja vu. And then, you know, it's going to start being where you think something and a person shows up. So it's like almost training you to start recognizing the pattern, because with learning how to use your intuitive gifts, it's like you're going through, like, I don't know, intuitive university, but it's like you have to create your own dictionary of like symbolisms and signs or smells or sensations of how spirit speaks to you. And it's like you master it over time. So that way, like, you can pinpoint and know like what means what. So it's like if I feel a certain thing in one of my chakras, I know what that is. A new thing for me is I was doing a reading for someone the other day, and I tasted what they were eating, that is totally new. And I was like, what is this? I was like, I don't want that, because I have the palate of a 3-year-old. Okay. Chicken nuggets and french fries all day. The sunken place. Initiated on what? I keep saying 11:11. Oh man. Higher consciousness. Awareness of awareness. Leaving the matrix would be the most simplest way to put it. Seeing what life is really about. Finding out who you really are. Who I really am. Who all of these people really are. Why we're all really here. It's getting that deep. 9/11. Oh man, you've been seeing 9/11? That's deep. Go look up the meaning 9/11. Ooh, and it's 9/11 tomorrow. But look up the meaning of 9/11. You're seeing 9/11 repeated. 555, that's a major change and shift. I mean, not 9. Yeah. 911. When you like, oh my gosh, the meaning for that will make you cry just reading it. Real talk. 222-333, 444, and 1111. That's my theme. I see that all day, every day, all the time. I'm like, for real though, dog. 333. Well, 444 is angels around you. 333. I attribute that to Christ consciousness. So that's like the awareness of Christ consciousness. I don't know about 722. Real dog. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. I wasn't a fan. Was not a fan. 888. I see that a lot. That's amazing. Oh man. 888. I started seeing 888 before I got the whole revelation of the 369 principle of Nikola Tesla. So that's like infinity. I don't necessarily look at it as like, you know, the literal eights, but it's like infinity. So it's like all knowing, all seeing, all being, realizing that the beginning is not a place, but a state of being. So that's more or less like the, it's symbolic of the parallel worlds that mirror each other, the as above, so below concept, and like alpha and omega, and going back to the beginning, which is a state, not a place. So Eden being a state of being and not an actual place. Galactic. I don't know why I like that word so much. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, this is my number one question. I used to constantly dream future events, sometimes first person point of view and sometimes third person, but I can't dream anymore, even though I've progressed really far. Why is that? Well, here's the thing. I'm a dreamer. I used to dream all the time. But see, now I believe the reason why I don't dream a lot anymore is because I get a lot of crucial intel in my dreams. So it's almost like you end up not, like spirit's trying to prevent you from being clogged up. You know what I mean? With, you know, just like subconscious processes trying to work themselves out so that when you get one, it's like, you know what I mean? So when I dream now, I know it's some real stuff. But then also, you could be having dreams and just not remembering them, because a lot of times spirit works with us in our sleep to kind of heal different things, and it's not necessary for you to remember. But seeing things first person, like point of view, and even third person, you want to keep track of if like with this being something that happened, like you dreaming about it before it happened, it's categorizing when you saw it first person point of view and when you saw it third person point of view, how it played out. Because some dreams, usually when you're like first person point of view, that's a dream where it's something that is probably going to happen to something like someone close to you, or you're going to see a place that you were in, which means like look around and you're going to see a person that spirit would tell you to talk to. And like third person, like when you're looking at stuff happening, those are usually more symbolic, you know what I mean? Where you're not really engaged, but it's knowing the difference to know which ones are for you and which ones are like for other people. But that's going to be something that kind of comes with the journey, you know, because at first it starts with you just dreaming stuff and then seeing it and being like, holy crap, I dreamed this, and no one believing you when you tell them. Ooh, that's dope. 44 on 8/8, that's gangster. I just had a lucid dream. That's gangster. Ooh, on 8/8/18. Wow. How do cuss signs know which sign to keep up with? Y'all, I've been supposed to do cuss readings and I never got around to it because I got so super busy. But I usually say the ones that I say you can watch both, but every cusper that I know resonates with one over the other. So like people that I know, I think I might know one Cancer Leo cusp that does not resonate with their Leo, but every other one, they're like, oh, I'm straight Leo. So they feel like Leo readings resonate more. But it really depends on what it is the reading is about. If it's love, you want to really pay more attention to your moon and to your Venus. And I mean, sun is helpful, of course, but moon and Venus is going to give you that deep, deep intel, you know. What's the best way to connect with your guardian angel or your spirit guide? Meditations usually help, like to set the intention and to ask for them. And I find that, you know, if people get kind of spooked out by like Archangel Michael just coming and being like, what's up? You know, that is easier to do it in a dream. So before you go to bed, set the intention, asking your guides to be revealed to you. You can also do it through oracle cards as well. But I say doing it through dream work is a lot easier and a lot less creepy. Thank you, Giggle Glimmer. I need to let y'all go because y'all got to go to work and stuff like that. And I'm sitting up here just keeping y'all and whatnot. Yeah, oracle cards are the jam. I tell all of my mentees to start with oracle cards before they start moving into tarot, unless they feel directly called into tarot. If you have self-esteem problems, huge body insecurities on a pathological level, how do you love yourself more? How do you love yourself? Man, if I could find a way to answer that quickly, because that literally was my struggle. Most of my life was self-acceptance. And to try to say that in a concise way, it's not an easy process, but it literally begins with, and this is going to sound so convoluted, but love to me is acceptance. So it's first seeing and admitting what you are. Like, I feel this way, which you have, you've acknowledged it. And now we begin the journey of looking at the why. How long have I felt this way and why? You know? So, I mean, if it's something, you know, something that you experienced and it shifted, or even if it's something as far back as you can remember, we need to go back to that point where that shift happened and we want to process that. And that's something that I can go more in depth with in a video that is not live. But it's like, I don't want to give you like a popcorn answer, because self-love does not come from you standing in the mirror and saying, I love myself, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm great. Wait, what did they say in that movie? You is smart, you is something, something. That's not how, you know, self-love is cultivated. What it really is, it's looking at the ugly, accepting the ugly, looking at why the ugly is there. So it's like looking at, like in my case, I was sexually abused as a kid, right? So my thing was feeling inherently like wrong or broken or damaged, right? And because that was my concept of myself, that altered how I showed up in the world. So I was projecting the rejected self to people. You know what I mean? It's like I was walking with my head down and feeling less than, not feeling good enough, you know? And when I started my journey, the first thing I had to do, because I went to therapy, which is how I found out I wanted to be a therapist when I was in therapy back in the day. But I had to acknowledge where I was. And I remember I literally sketched out a picture of what I felt like I looked like to myself. And my therapist was completely mortified. She's like, that's how you see yourself. And I was like, it was like a little snaggletooth, like hunchback person. Like, that's totally how I saw myself. But, and she's like, oh, you know, like trying to like empower me. I was like, dude, you don't understand. But it was me resisting her. But I came to a place of realizing that I had to find something about myself to love. So I had to find something good about myself when I never had any reason to ever think there was anything good about me. So I had to start with the simple things, which was literally like a hobby, right? And it's like, I'm really good at this. And then people would compliment that. And then it's like, you know, I'm like, oh, you know. So for me, it's like it was losing weight because I used to be very, very, very overweight. So it's like it started with me losing weight. And then when I get compliments, it's like, oh, people think I'm pretty. Hold up. Wait a minute, goddamn. You know? And then it was like, well, let me change up my hair. And people's like, oh, girl. And I was like, oh, snap. They think that I'm pretty. Oh, my God. You know? And then that transitioned into my clothes. So I had to start with external things first because I didn't understand my inside. I didn't understand when people said go within. I didn't know what the hell that meant. I was like, in where? What is in me other than like blood, organs, and bones and things, right? So I had to slowly work my way in by like fixing what I thought was wrong outside of me. And it's like, as I went through that journey, it's like things started to unravel and reveal themselves to me. So that's why I say, guys, it sounds super easy, but it's literally grounding yourself, being aware and setting the intention and being aware and listening for spirit. Like my goal is to love myself. I need you to show me how to love myself. Show me something good about myself. You want to interact with people who are, you know, speaking life into you. You want to listen to things and watch things that are speaking life into you. Surrounding yourself in an external sense with things that are speaking things of higher vibrational senses to you. And you want to start paying attention to how spirit is speaking to you, paying attention to synchronicities. When you see the repeating numbers, writing them down. All of this stuff is giving you ways. It's almost like a scavenger hunt. It's a scavenger hunt of self-love. And as you're going through this process of action, it's revealed, it unfolds. You start to see yourself deeper in these things, like the pains, they start to unravel, right? Now, this is something that you're doing on a self level. This is when I put on therapist hat and I say that now when we're starting to talk about unraveling, like uprooting all of those like bad seeds and roots that are grounded in that past trauma, that's when you want to go to someone who can help you like unearth that, because that's not something that you want to do by yourself. You know what I'm saying? And especially if your self-concept or self-worth is based on something that happened to you past tense, like something traumatic, that's not something that an affirmation will just heal. That's not something that a person complimenting you 1,000 times will heal. That's not something that a relationship will heal. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to do that work to uproot that bad seed that was planted in you. You know what I'm saying? That's consistently telling you lies about yourself and blocking you and preventing you from seeing the beauty of who and what you are. You know what I mean? And a person who's trained to help you through that process and to kind of help guard you against, you know, because it kind of gets worse before it gets better, but like kind of giving you the tools in order to process this. That in a nutshell is how you start to cultivate love for self. You know what I mean? It's not a quick fix because us, you know, losing our worth was not an overnight type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. It is. Self-help is not like reading a book is not going to heal you of trauma. Not even in the slightest. like self-help books are really, really helpful, but it gives you a label and a term for what it is that you're dealing with, so you feel resonance with another group of people, so you can say, oh my God, I'm not alone in the world. But just reading a book, anyone's book, it's not enough. You know, it's a tool to educate you, but you want to do the work. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, please email me. I'd be more than happy to refer you to some people in your area if you want. I'm about that. Y'all know I'm about that counseling life. I like to tell that to my clients. Have you ever? Yes, I have been to therapy. Dag nabbit son of a gun. I realized I want to be a therapist in therapy. Yeah, man. You got to be open to do the work. Me working with people, it's like I'm working with you. I'm just like holding the torch in this little dark cave, but you have to do the work. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Oh, thank you, flower. Yeah, man. Therapy, that it's imperative. Like, I mean, I feel like if you have a consistent massage therapist you go to, you need to have a consistent mental health therapist that you go to, just to keep you together, you know? Isn't that a hermit? Absolutely, man. It's like sometimes you just need that sounding board, because it's like my clients joke about it all the time. It's like, dog, like we just pay you just so you could just listen and not give your opinion on stuff. And I'm like, isn't that wonderful to just like talk and somebody be like, well, I don't see it that way, you know? Oh, massage therapy is your passion, girl. Let me know when you go into business. Hello. Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, guys, I'm going to put a video out because we've been on here for almost 2 hours, and I know that it is late, especially if you're on the East Coast. It's even later. If you're on the West Coast, you're all straight, you know? But but I don't want to keep you guys or my moderators, because I know that you guys have lives, Giggle, Glimmer, and Star. I love you so much, and I thank you. But I'm going to go ahead and cut it short, guys, you know? Let's say it's 10:47. Yeah. Since I just joined. I love you, boo-boo. Do you do live readings? I do. But I'm going to post this for the people who kind of came in late. And I don't know. I'm going to put my little disclaimer in there. But I'm going to record a video of like everything that we discussed here in like synopsis form and post it so you guys can use it for personal reference. And if you guys dig this, want me to do more of this, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Any suggestions that you have, you know, anything that you guys would like to see. But I need to go finish my personal readings too. So I'm going to see you guys soon. Oh, awesome. I'm glad. I hope that this helped. You guys, that's always my intention and always my prayer, is that anytime that I come on here, whether it's live or in any of my readings, my prayer is always that even if I could just touch one person and offer a little bit of hope, offer a little bit of direction and clarity to just one person, that's enough for me. So I feel like I'm winning. Ooh, that is a pretty heart emoji. I want that. Oh, thank you guys. Y'all are so amazing. I have the dopest subbies. Hey, Chantel. I'm gonna go hit the hooch. Take a shot for me. But I love you guys dearly. Guys, have a good night. Set your intentions before you go to bed. Dadgummit son of a gun, whether it's to find out your spirit guides, if that person is your twin flame or what have you. Any of you guys who want any more detailed information, hit up my email. I will point you in the right direction. If I have the resources to help, I will. But it has been a pleasure. Thank you guys for sharing your energy, your time with me. Thank you for sticking it out with me for this long. And I appreciate each and every one of you dearly, more than I think you'll ever know. But you're going to know right now, boo-boo. But I'll be back soon, guys, because I have a new deck that's coming in. And I got another new deck that came in that I'm trying to memorize right now, but I can't wait till you guys see this new deck. It's going to be a surprise. Surprise, surprise. But I love you guys. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the mosquitoes bite. Love your face. Deuces.